The Thin Gray Line Collection, brought to you exclusively by LEOChallengeCoins.com. Collect pins, challenge coins, medallions, emblems, patches, and more at LEOChallengeCoins.com. Visit www.LEOChallengeCoins.com.
What a sick feeling that goes through your body when you reach down to feel for your keys at work, at the jail or prison, and they're gone. They're not there. And you know, throughout the day, as you all know, you just reach down automatically just to touch them, just to see if they're there. And when they're gone, the panic begins to flow through the body. The hair on the back of your head starts to stand up. What's your first thought? Oh my God, where was the last place? Where was I last? And you begin to follow your trail through your dorm, through your control room, through back to the bathroom. What time did I go to the bathroom? What time did I go to lunch? Panic sets in. Or what about when you're just about to get off shift and you're in charge of the control room and you do an inventory? The inventory that when you took over the control room was good this morning. But now, in 30 minutes, the next shift is coming on and you're missing a key from the control room key box. Hair starts to stand up on the back of your head and panic sets in. Hello, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories, and it has happened to many of us. It's happened to me. I'll tell you a little bit about my experience, and it's scary, and it causes a lot of things to happen. It causes a lockdown of the jail or the prison. And what should we do when we lose our key? Well, we all know that we're the feeling of embarrassment. We're scared. We get that feeling in our stomach. You just know that this is going to ruin your day. It's going to ruin your week probably. And for years to come, you're not going to hear the end of it from your colleagues, because some of them are going to remember and they're going to tease you and joke with you. We're going to get through this, and you'll get through it. And I hope it never happens to you. It's happened to a lot of officers. It's scary. And I'm going to tell you your best bet. Take a quick look around. Make sure they're not laying around. Make sure they're not in your pocket. Make sure they're not in your bag or something you brought into the prison with you. But the sooner you report it, the better. Don't be scared. Report immediately to your supervisor. Hey, I can't find my dorm keys. Hey, I can't find key 19 to the caustics closet. Okay, any key that we lose in this job can cause serious problems if the inmates get a hold of it. Report it to your supervisor so that things can start to go into action immediately. Because the first hour that you discover your key missing is the most critical and the most important. Why? Because we have to lock down the jail, or we have to lock down the prison, and we have to tell every officer what has happened. And we have to begin a search. We have to try to find that key before an inmate finds that key. Now, who's going to find out that you lost the key? Well, of course, the supervisors, the warden. If it's a jail, it's going to be your captain or your jail commander, your chief. It's going to be embarrassing, but you have to report it. Don't let fear and embarrassment stop you. You have to report it immediately. Number one, if you report it immediately, it's going to save you a lot of problems in the end, because we're all human and we lose things from time to time. You're going to go through a spell. You're going to be asked questions. Who knows? You may even be administratively investigated and be asked questions on tape when you lose a key. Depends on what your agency department heads want to do and what they do in these type of situations. You're going to have to do an incident report. Mandatory that you do an incident report and turn it in. And a lot of things are going to happen. Now, not only are all your colleagues going to find out, but they're going to help you, right? Colleagues, we are going to help our fellow officer find these keys, because think about if you were in this predicament. What if it was you that lost the key? No time to joke when the key's gone. We'll joke later when it's all over. trying to make the officer feel better. But for right now, it's not a funny thing. Nobody's going home. We're locking down the compound. Your shift is staying on duty. The next shift coming on will be there. Now we're going to have 2 shifts at work, and we're all going to work diligently to help find these keys and get our fellow officer out of this bind. Now, another thing that many people probably don't think about, the outside world is going to know that your keys are already missing. They're missing because the inmates watch and listen to everything. When the jail or prison is locked down, someone is going to get contact to the outside world and say, hey, Mom, we're on lockdown. An officer lost their keys. You think that doesn't happen? I can prove to you it happens. We can go back and get some investigations over the years and show you that it happens. How do they do that? They're on lockdown. The inmates are locked down. How do they get outside contact? Cell phones, smuggled cell phones. They're all over the place, folks. They're in every jail and prison in the United States of America. And some inmate is going to get the word out. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. We're on lockdown. Officer lost their keys. So when you lose your keys, everybody's going to know, including the inmates, including some of the inmates' families. That's how deep it goes. But we're not going to worry about who the inmates call and what they say. We're going to do our job. We're going to find our keys. We'll deal with the inmates when the time comes. And, it's a good time when we're searching for the keys to search for contraband. I mean, we have to find those keys. If we don't, we're going to have to think about what the keys belong to that you lost. Is it just that dorm that you worked in? Or did you have keys that are lost that have a master key that affect the entire jail and prison? Now we're really talking some work. We're talking money and work. So we may have to rekey a lot of things within the jail and prison if we don't find those keys. If we find those keys in a timely manner, we probably don't have to rekey, because it's not like an inmate had time to run out to Lowe's or Home Depot and have a key made. So we have to find those keys quickly. Your agency should have a policy on what to do with key control and when a key is lost. That's what you're going to follow. You're going to follow your supervisor's instructions and the policies of what to do when a key is lost. They probably have something set in place on a number of hours that they will give up the search. A number of hours that if the key is not found, they will begin to get the locksmith to work and rekey all these entryways that the lost keys fit. So it can be a very long process and a very tiring process. I did lose a set of keys. Now, fortunately, it didn't happen when I was a correctional officer or probation officer. It happened when I was a prison inspector, however, and I lost the keys to the office of the Region 5 Tampa office in Florida. Now, what's the big deal about that? Well, we were separate from the institutions and we had our own office, but all the files in there of all the officers that have been investigated, whether they were substantiated or unsubstantiated, were in there. So if someone found those keys and got in there, they could read a lot of investigative history and learn things that they shouldn't. Now, it was quickly handled. We rekeyed everything and it was done. That's much simpler than a jail or prison. But the reason I'm telling you about my incidents is I had that feeling. I had this tingle. The hair stood up on the back of my neck. I had this sick feeling in my gut, and I had to call my boss. That's no fun. Hey, boss, there's a regional inspector who I had to call. I lost the keys to the Region 5 office. I can't find them anywhere. And, when it's over, everybody jokes and laughs and makes fun of you, and you never hear the end of it. But let me tell you, when it happens, it makes you sick. It gets you scared. You can say you're not worried and you're a big, tough, bad correctional officer, but I think everybody goes into the panic mode when they lose a key, because it does cause a lot of work for your fellow officers and a lot of embarrassment. But what I want to say real quick to end this is, let's help our fellow officers in that time of need. Let's don't jump all over them. Let's don't yell at them. Supervisors, if you're a yeller, you're not going to do any good by yelling at the officer. Where's the dang key? What's the matter with you? Are you stupid? I mean, it's happened. We all know this. You think the officer can sit down and seriously calm down and think and retrace their tracks with you yelling at them? Let's all help each other, co-workers and supervisors. And as a supervisor, let's try to calm the officer down, work with the officer, and talk to the officer. And talk the officer through their day to try to help them remember where they may have lost the keys. And you know, in many, many, many of these cases, you're going to find the keys. They're going to show up. I've been on shift when this has happened at the jail and at the prison. And eventually we found the keys. The two shifts got together, the oncoming and offgoing. We found the keys. So every once in a great while you won't find them. And then we have to take the proper measures. And management, you know, I know lots of agencies will discipline an officer for losing a key. And you know, you have to do what you have to do if that's in your policy and procedure. Please don't try to crucify them. Please don't try to ruin their career because they lost a set of keys. Okay? If you have to write them up, write them up. Maybe you can give them a verbal. I don't know. It all depends on the history also. It depends on the disciplinary history of the officer. I know that there's a lot of factors that go in, and I know that you have to do something to make the officer aware and pay more attention to key control. But please don't try to crucify the officers over it. Let's all work together. And for all you new officers, if you lose a key, report it immediately. It goes for all officers, but there's a lot of new officers that I don't think people take the time to tell you how important it is to report immediately. That word immediately will save you a lot of trouble. Because if you try to hide the fact that something can just happen and you wait till the next day, now you're looking at some discipline. Don't go home and think maybe I left them at home and then come back the next day and report something that was lost yesterday. Report immediately. That's the best advice I can give you. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Gary York, True Prison Stories.